Welcome to Older Militarist Radio TV, and we're lifelong Catholics. And what we do is all for free and for our love of Jesus Christ and for our Holy Mother, the Church. And we'll defend our Holy Mother, the Church. It is Artsakh Genocide Day 16, and we are again doing a single show, no co-host, no nothing. But we ask you to be generous. Please donate if you can. Go to our last program where Brother Lexus was with me, and we talked about how we want it, to help reach the goal of helping all the folks that we need help. Please consider sponsoring refugees, uh, uh, forcibly displaced citizens from Artsakh. That way, their entire family can be covered for most of the winter. It's like 2,000 some dollars, I think you figured and tallied up. But now with news, and it's gonna be a lot of reading, so if you lose me where I'm reading, so everything's on the show page, and it'll be linked on in every description box on Rumble, YouTube, and Odyssey. Hearings at the EU Parliament. The EU should reconsider its relations with Azerbaijan. There has to be immediate consequences for Aliyev's regime. Halt negotiations on a new EU-Azeri agreement. Halt visa facilitation agreement. Termination of gas deal. Exactly. Hurt them where it hurts the most, and make sure they feel it, that they're no longer welcomed in the Western world. This is from Valerie Boyer. I want to denounce the attitude of Ursula von der Leyen and the hypocrisy of European countries which refuse to buy Russian gas, but which buys gas from Azerbaijan, which comes from Russia. Why do we intervene precisely for Ukraine, but abandon Armenia? The list of countries that provide assistance to Armenia for forcibly displaced people from Artsakh as of October 3rd. France, 12,500,000 francs. USA, $11.5 million. EU, 5 million euros. Germany, 5 million euros. Italy, 4 million. Canada, 2,500,000 Canadian dollars. Sweden, 1,350,000 euros. Spain, 1 million euros. Czech Republic, 200,000 euros. Denmark, 134,000 euros. Norway, $1,850,000. And Iran, first load was 50 tons. Now it's 60 tons of humanitarian aid. CNN signed a big contract with Azerbaijan just before Azeri's siege of Artsakh, and for 9 months. CNN had zero TV reports about the genocidal Azeri blockade, just running Azeri ads. Now they cover it by amplifying Azeri regime lies. I want to read this from Politico. Yes. Sorry. EU, Russia, and US held secret talks days before the Artsakh blitz. Top officials from the United States, the EU met with their Russian counterparts for undisclosed emergency talks in Turkey designed to resolve the standoff the art over an Artsakh just days before Azerbaijan launched a military offensive last month to seize the breakaway territory from ethnic Armenian control. The off-diary meeting marks a rare, if ultimately unsuccessful, contact between Moscow and the West on a major security concern after Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 upended regular diplomacy. A senior diplomat with knowledge of the discussion told Politico the meeting took place on September 17 in Istanbul as part of efforts to pressure Azerbaijan to end its 9-month blockade of the enclave and allow in humanitarian aid convoys from Armenia. According to the envoy, the meeting focused on how to get the bloody trucks moving and ensure supplies of food and fuel could reach its estimated 100,000 residents. The EU was represented by Louis Bono, Washington senior advisor for the Caucasus negotiations, while the EU dispatched Tovio Klar as representative for the region. Russia, meanwhile, sent Igor Kovachev, who serves as Putin's special envoy on relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So right before as Azerbaijan illegally attacked the Southern Republic of Artsakh, EU, Russia, and the United States met in Istanbul, Turkey on this. During the recent attack by Azerbaijan after 9 months of blockade, Levon Kachatarin stood up to defend his land, single-handedly defending the village of Vent. He took all the fire and stood until the end so that the women and children could escape. On September 19th, he died from his wounds. The total lack of videos from Azerbaijan's side showing parading captured Artsakh prisoners of war during and after the 19th and 20th September conflict supports reports of them fighting until the last man at many military positions. We believe this could be very well true, info available to us, but the number of Artsakh killed at around 500, but official figures have yet to be published. Almost no first-hand accounts of troops beside this video that we hadn't seen prior to the latest conflict. In the video, the one speaking says, "Hello, everyone. Today is the 19th September. We're here with these lions," referring to his fellow soldiers. "We're still sitting here. Once we get up, we'll be coming through and retaking Lachin, Sushi, be well. What else should I say?" And the camera uh, cuts away, and that's the end of the video. The UN is lying to protect Azerbaijan, but the Red Cross is doing the right thing. There are reports by Russian MOD, MFA, and UN Azerbaijan saying everything is fine in Nagorno-Karabakh, and there are the Red Cross workers in the streets in Stefankert trying to evacuate the last Armenians left behind. Tens of thousands have fled their homes, but the most vulnerable, including the elderly, sick, and disabled, are unable to easily leave. Our teams have been in the streets with megaphones to find those who need help or wish to be evacuated. They go street by street, house by house, with a megaphone to get their attention, and they hear responses, and they go up and get them into the vehicles and get them out of harm's way. Brave folk, the Armenian Red Cross is. Yesterday, videos have been shown of Azerbaijan is going to ancient churches and monasteries and desecrating them. Poland sends humanitarian aid to Armenia to help the forcibly displaced citizens of Artsakh. Sometime around now, the European Parliament will be voting to pass this joint resolution against the EU Commission. And here's a little quote from it. Expresses deep dissatisfaction at the fact that regular alerts by Parliament regarding the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh and the risk of a catastrophic outcome have been disregarded by the Commission and the Council. Deplores the fact that the EU action has not so far led to any positive results whatsoever. It demands that the EAS reconsider its action in the South Caucasus and replace its dedicated staff. Regrets a slow response by the EU institutions, with the High Representatives of the UN for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy only releasing a statement 2 days after Azerbaijan launched its attack against Nagorno-Karabakh. And I'm going to read from this article by Miss Emily Schrader. She's an Israeli journalist, but she exposes the deceptive lobbying efforts. As Azerbaijan engages in ethnic cleansing, hold on, folks, making sure we're getting this moody. Ethnic cleansing campaign once again in Nagorno-Karabakh against 120,000 Christian Armenians. Israel's increasing close ties with Azerbaijan are becoming all the more problematic, and it's not just at the government level. Israel's position is focused first and foremost on the combating the existential threat of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Understandably so. Yet in doing so, Israel is aligning itself for President Ilham Aliyev dictatorship in Azerbaijan in order to get access to the border with Iran. They trade off Armenian lives. Massive sale of Israeli weapons to Azerbaijan have been used in the last two devastating wars against innocent Armenians in a land grab, in a wave of ethnic cleansing following months of incitement to violence and demonstration and demonization of ethnic Armenians with Azerbaijan. The most alarming part for me as an Israeli journalist, however, is that most Israelis aren't even aware of how problematic Aliyev's dictatorship is or the nonsense bill of goods they've been sold by the Azeri lobbying efforts throughout the state of Israel, both the public and private sector. I've refrained from speaking about this issue for quite some time due to pressure as a journalist and as have others unknown. But we cannot be silent in the face of appalling attempted genocide that's taking place against the indigenous Christian population, an enemy that seeks to wipe them off the face of the earth. This is no different than the existential threats made by the Islamic Republic of Iran against the state of Israel. Azerbaijan has heavily invested in lobbying Israel at the government and PR level. They even established a tourist center in the heart of the beach in Tel Aviv, where millions of Israelis and tourists go every year. This exorbitant lobbying effort is known as Tactic of Aliyev, who is an anti-democratic dictator, whether or not he supports Israel. One of the most unpleasant tactics I've seen is the attempted intimidation of Israeli journalists who speak out against Azerbaijan. I myself have been the target of Israeli bot campaigns on social media simply for writing the truth. In a social media post from this month, the Azeri Times itself responded to my coverage in an attempt to defend Aliyev's regimes with the excuse that we have a large Jewish population, as if that relates in capacity to the fact that Azerbaijan is committing ethnic cleansing against Christian Armenians. This is not the behavior of an ally, certainly not of a democratic nation, but respects free press. As a journalist myself, I've been invited on educational tours sponsored by Azeri government more than once, which I refuse. Many of my peers have been both invited and have gone themselves. I know the cases in which important people are literally given gifts of gold jewelry by the Azeri government during their visit. This is a strategic approach, pandering to key journalists and public figures, and then bombarding them with false or out of context information. Azerbaijan preys on the sensitivities of the Israeli public by claiming that they are the victims of Armenian terror, similar to what Israel faces from the Palestinians. But Azerbaijan doesn't have a democracy, unlike Israel. They don't have basic protections for civil rights, unlike Israel. Nor does their military operate within the same ethics in combat like the Israeli Defense Forces. Reality simply doesn't support the false narrative that Azerbaijan is promoting. Azerbaijan has been aggressive global political agenda and spends an incredible amount of money lobbying Israel and others to promote it, money that Armenia simply doesn't have. For months, the Azeri regime has been promoting the false and fabricated narrative that Azeris are Israel in this scenario. With Armenia, and they are merely defending themselves against terrorists. This lie is rooted in pan-Turkic ideology that seeks the complete destruction of the first Christian nation in the world, Armenia. It is a lie used to justify ethnic cleansing from the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh, an area of 120,000 ethnic Armenians, historically Armenian for thousands of years, that's surrounded by Azeris. This territory is surrounded by Azerbaijan, not because it's historically Azeri, but because of how the Soviets drew the boundaries after the fall of the USSR. Yet the world has been largely silent as Azerbaijan has launched multiple wars and blockades to drive out Armenians from their land, and they are much more powerful thanks to Israeli weapons. The Armenians have been trying to warn the world for months this would happen, and no one believed them. How can the world, even more so can Israel, the nation state of the Jewish people who survived the Holocaust, be silent in the face of such a shocking crime against humanity? In particular, when Israel is urging the world to pay attention to the threat of the exact same thing from the Islamic Republic of Iran against Israel. After the 2020 war, despite the risks, Armenia has offered to give up territorial claims in exchange for the guarantee that Armenians in the territory will be protected, as Azerbaijan had previously committed massacres of Armenian cities in Nakhchivan, another territory which was historically Armenian but drawn into modern Azerbaijan's borders. Azeris destroyed 98% of the historical and religious sites of Armenians, attempting to erase their connection to the land after a shameful campaign of ethnic cleansing. Instead of agreeing to protect the human rights of Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, today Azerbaijan launched another war against Armenians, including attacking civilian targets. This comes after months of incitement to violence and dehumanization of Armenians by the Azeri government in the media. The truth is, Azerbaijan doesn't want to live in peace with Armenia or Armenians, unlike Israel with its Arab neighbors. Azerbaijan wants to eliminate the first Christian nation in the world entirely, and their officials have said it explicitly. The Israeli public is being hoodwinked, and while there are some Israelis waking up, many are unaware of the true nature of Aliyev's regime. Remember that for many Israelis, supporting Azerbaijan is most likely the result of an ugly, organized, premeditated lobbying campaign by Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan does not have shared values with the state of Israel. It is not a democracy, it is a dictatorship. And dictatorships are not true allies. But what Miss Emily Schrader forgets to mention is what the Zionists are doing in Israel to Christians as we speak. They are intimidating them. They are attacking them because they are Christian. They are spitting on Armenian priests in the Armenian sector of Jerusalem, the most ancient sector of the Holy City, and attacking the ancient St. James Cathedral there in the Armenian sector. You don't know how big Armenia was. Had Eastern Armenia where Azerbaijan sat when Stalin created it with Turkey. Then you had Western Armenia, which stretched all the way into Constantinople. Or there were Armenian emperors of Constantinople connected to the Greek Macedonian houses. So from Constantinople to the area of Azerbaijan, that is how far they stretched that way. And they stretched to what would become in parts of Syria to the sea next to Lebanon. That would become Armenia Minor or Armenia Sicilia, and the two would border. So that's how far they stretch the other way. Armenia was huge, powerful for a long, long time. The reason why why the Apostolic Church of Armenia is not connected to the Catholic Church, was it no fault of their own? It was like, the same misunderstanding of the Greek fathers and bad translations of that, but also at the time of the Chalcedon Council, Before Persia became an ally of Armenia, Persia attacked. And so they had to decide, do we go to the council or do we stay and defend our homeland? As great warriors they are, they decided to stay and fight and defend their homeland. And so, by them not being represented at the Chalcedon Council, it's like being marked tardy at school. They pre-assumed that they were bad, and so that is pretty much how the split happened. Was it no fault of their own? They thought protection of their homeland and their faith from the Persians at the time of the Chalcedon Council was more important. And they're slowly waking up, turning towards their own, having relations with their own, and we're also going to be trying to help one of the main dioceses there of the Apostolic Church, who's helping a lot of the forcibly displaced citizens of Artsakh. So they've come a long ways since that time. And I don't blame them one bit for what they decided to do when Persia decided to invade and attack. They're like, go to the council, risk losing our homeland, or stay and fight and defend it. Since I know my relatives are there, I support my relatives even though now the Catholic Church and everyone else, they need to work on vocations. They need more priests, more monks, more nuns. I don't think they even have any nuns. So yeah, that's enough of me blabbering for the day. So please like and share this program on Rumble, YouTube, Odyssey, and the show page itself where the original video will be uploaded. And please donate, 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 and be very, very generous. These people have lost everything. They need a way to survive the winter. Maybe if we get some more big time donors before we transfer the money to the diocese helping the people, the diocese can get them some housing, good solid housing. You get them off the streets from being cold and wet and everything else. To be generous, donate, donate, donate. This is Order Military Video TV signing off. This will